Any other things you want to add?
I would say that we're robust. We'll get through it. I think that the automobile manufacturers are going through kind of a rediscovering of themselves, and it's going to take some capital to get through that. And we are going to have to adjust some things. We're going to need some help from the government. The other thing that I think is very, very important is I don't know how long the United States, the government or the American people can put up with a free trade system versus a fair trade system. I'll give you a good example of that. If we make a Focus today that costs $15,000 and we want to ship it to Japan, and Japan has a market that did about a little over 8 million units last year, when we go in to do that, they add a $10,000 tariff. When they bring in their Japanese products into the U.S., we add a $400 to $500 tariff. And they limit the amount we bring into Japan, and we don't limit anything they bring in here. So that gives us about a $9,500 disadvantage, and even if we could bring them in, they limit us at less than 50,000 units. That's not a fair trade system. It might be a free trade from our perspective. From theirs, it's not a free trade. We talk about a global economy, and we look at the American automobile industry, which is probably going to be around 12 million units this year. Japan's not that far off, and to limit us, and it's not unique. China limits us. All those companies limit the ability for us to bring our products into their companies, and they do it through tariffs and through limits. And we just don't have a good system that really makes it fair on the United States or the American car company or any of them. Some industries that have a better deal than we have. We don't have a good deal with the auto industry.
Okay, now that you brought up the foreign countries, our past guest, one of our guests mentioned that Ford is pretty popular in European markets.
Yeah, Ford has a very big presence in Europe, and we're doing very well there. In fact, we build the vehicles there. We use European workers to assemble them, and everything works there. We established that years ago, and that market is very open. It's very fair and free both. So we have a good relationship with the European markets. And I got to tell you, there's some pretty exciting products over there we wish we could bring into America right now. But given the tight CAFE and the tight emissions rules, as well as some of the safety issues, we're not able to bring them in. In fact, right now there's a vehicle over there that we have vehicles that get 45 to 65 miles per gallon, but we can't bring them in America right now because they're restricting our ability to do that. Just with a few regulations, I think they need to open the market up a little more to take off some pressure on fuel economy.